into it now. We have been making poor decisions, and these are the reasons on which I say Jamaica needs a new direction. These are the reasons on which I say that Jamaica needs a forensic audit. Serious. Because we must stop and check how much money got on over the last years because of poor decision making, because of corruption, because of all kind of things. Because when a man make a genuine mistake, I don't refer to that as corruption. But when a man make a mistake voluntarily because he wants to corrupt the system, then you have corruption by that way as well. But even if you make the mistake genuinely, how many mistakes you get before you get kicked to the curb? Because if you're making genuine mistakes regularly, it means you're incompetent. Till you end up start cause corruption by incompetence. Because when you look at a situation like Cornwall Regional Hospital, the error that was made with Cornwall Regional is costing us easily over $11 billion. $11 billion. When you look upon where it's at now, at $14 billion. Because remember, the first figure was given was about $2.5 billion to refurbish. We said at the time that you should demolish and build a new hospital conducive to our climate. The design of Cornwall Regional is a Canadian design. Hence, it is not fit for the tropics. And you get an opportunity to correct it. And you made that kind of mistake. So, when Dr. Christofton is going to say that people want to run a smear campaign, so it relates to Dr. Tufton. Nobody needs to try to do anything. All you need to do is talk what happened. Because we're still waiting on the investigation for Market Me. Nobody trying to smear you with Market Me, Dr. Tufton. We want to know what happened. It's just that what the young lady they named from Zara Burton, in my opinion, asked the question wrong. Zara, you shouldn't ask him about his wife. You should ask him about if he's involved with anybody from Market Me, because that would cause a conflict of interest. So that's where the question should have go. You shouldn't ask him if he cheat on his wife. Should I ask him if he's involved in a relationship with any of the principals of Market Me? Then he would have answered that question. Because that now looks at the whole conflict of interest matter as it relates to the decision to go into a contract with Market Me. So, when we look at the decisions that they are making, when the Minister of Finance decided that he wouldn't continue the insurance of Jamaica's oil bill, massive error. Ralston Hyman saying we could be paying 30% less for petrol. And right now we're paying $200 per liter. And it frightens me. In Portland, we are paying like $280 a litre, if not more. So 280 minus 30% is 196. So it's $84 less we'll be paying for gas. And if you're paying $84 less, and you're buying, like, sometime I buy 50 litre, it's $4,200 you'd be saving when you go to the gas pump. Let's look at a taxi man who might be doing 27 litres. So it's 84 times 27. You'd be saving $2,268 when you go to the gas pump. And it could be more. So the edge, the finance minister not edging. Every time you go to the gas pump, you pay $2,268 extra, where you wouldn't have to pay. So these are what the mistakes are costing us. Yeah? And you're talking about people who people are referring to as the best prime minister. People are referring to them as the best finance minister. I wonder what these people are talking about. I want to say good morning and welcome to all our new viewers up in Kensington. Good morning and welcome. Hector's River, good morning. Yeah? Yes, a lot of mistakes and a lot of things were politicized, and because of that, it's costing us. The SOE down in St. James, rubbish. We're not hearing any searches coming out there. So you're going to have to keep that SOE forever. Sandra, good morning. Sir Thomas, morning, sir. Lamar. Sir Brown. Miss Hussey, morning. Welcome, everybody. So we simplify the mistakes, and then it would cost 30% less of your light bill if the Minister of Finance had continued the edge and, in fact, increased on it, because Dr. Phillips was only edging on 1/3 of what we were buying. But remember and understand the reason for only doing 1/3 when it started. Because when it started, there was no edge fund. So the government had to lend the money to the fund until they start collecting. When Nigel Clark got in there and Hardly Shaw, the edge fund was there. So you could now increase the percentage you insure. But this minister, in his wisdom or lack thereof, never decide for edge. And I say to the people of Jamaica, that is something that is punishable. The SOE down in St. James, rubbish. We're not hearing any searches coming out there. So you're going to have to keep that SOE forever. Sandra, good morning. Sir Thomas, morning, sir. Lamar. Sir Brown. Miss Hussey, morning. Welcome, everybody. So we simplify the mistakes, And then it would cost 30% less of your light bill if the Minister of Finance had continued the edge and, in fact, increased on it, because Dr. Phillips was only edging on 1/3 of what we were buying. But remember and understand the reason for only doing 1/3 when it started. Because when it started, there was no edge fund. So the government had to lend the money to the fund until they start collecting. When Nigel Clark got in there and Hardly Shaw, the edge fund was there. So you could now increase the percentage you insure. But this minister, in his wisdom or lack thereof, never decide for edge. And I say to the people of Jamaica, that is something that is punishable. It is punishable. This is a government that calls its citizens chink, fleas, and flies, you know. Yes, the GLP government refer to us as chink, fleas, and flies. Because for those of you who sit in your cozy chair and say, Warmington, this Shaka fame, in this every Jamaican. And every member, every governing member, every ruling member, every one of the leaders in the GLP agreed with it. In fact, a senior minister, a senior member of the GLP administration doubled down on it. So, injustice to one is injustice to all. And the Almighty say, whatever you do to the least of these, you have done it unto me. So I feel like say, Uncle me would have called so. Him call everyone I saw. Chink, fleas, and flies. And him now tour with councillor and councillor candidate. Him diss everybody. And the Jamaica Labour Party sat down and condoned it, including the Prime Minister. Every one of them agree. So every member called Jamaican people chink, fleas, and flies. Morning to the mayor of Port Antonio, chairman of the Portland Municipal Corporation. We're still waiting on you, sir, to send the police to remove the barriers and the security guard from the parish council road. Because only the parish council have the authority to block that road. So if it's not the parish council paying the guards, if it's not the parish council order the barriers there, then, Mr. Mayor, you too, sir, must face the people's court. I was putting out the reasons this morning, why some people must be removed from office. Yes. You're blundering, squandering the people's gain, thus putting us on the back foot. When you go and mash down people's house, it was premeditated, Because the man announced it in the parliament that tomorrow morning, he might bulldoze the house them over Clifton. When you had time to investigate, you had time to sort out what happened, because you at the time said it was gangsters, they are gangsters. And you bulldoze the people in the house. And then you apologize. Or you didn't apologize, but you're planning to build back and fix back and give back. Those are the errors that we're talking about. So the Prime Minister had promised that by Friday of last week, his statutory declaration would be sorted out. I know him could make that promise because it's not him a certified. And that's why sometimes I can't understand the people in mainstream media who allow these leaders to come and tell them all this rubbish. And they bite hook, line, and sinker. Him couldn't determine. If he's going to respond, all him can say him going to respond by that time. And I'm still saying that the Prime Minister should put before the country whatever communication him get from the Integrity Commission. Make we see what the Integrity Commissioner asks for. You are the Prime Minister. You put a gagada on the Integrity Commission and say that them can't talk before the report is tabled in the Parliament. So we are saying to you, Mr. Prime Minister, sir, put the communication out and make us see it now. Make we decide. What a morning. What a morning. Because the people of Jamaica, the silent majority, sits down and allowing the country to go into anarchy. But can I tell you? Can I tell you? Just look over 80 and see what is happening over there and make up on the mind if that's what you don't want to come to Jamaica. I don't want that. Me don't want that at Jamaica. So we need to speak now definitively. Because this gangsterism and badmanism we are on this country, where anytime you ask any question, you say you're bad mind. We have to move that, you know. We have to move that and get to a state of accountability. A state where we demand transparency from those who run the country. Look seriously like we're heading for a dictatorship in Jamaica. Just look at what is happening around you. Look at what is happening around you. The corporal of the Police Federation spoke. And he was put on interdiction by the Commissioner of Police because them said the man criticized and talk about the pay increase at a funeral. Corporal Ron James. The judge said the man must go back to him work with immediate effect. The man is the union representative for the police officers. And he spoke about settling on the remuneration for the police. And if it don't settle, God help the commissioner. And you put him on interdiction for that. Are we seeing the rising of a dictatorship in this country? The government is changing the policy of how bills from the Integrity Commission and the Auditor General is tabled in the Parliament. Convention is that these bills are tabled as soon as possible. And this administration is now saying that they're putting a 2 months hold on the tabling of these bills. When they come to the Parliament, they're not tabling them same time, they're sending them to oversight or to the minister. And the minister can take up to 2 months to peruse the report. Or they're sending one to the oversight committee, which can take up to 30 days. No. Neither the oversight committee nor the minister can change the content of any of those reports. But let me tell you plain and simple what the government is doing. Let me clear it for you. Clear and simple. The government is putting things into place to ensure that if there is any adverse report against the government coming to the parliament, they can stall that if you are in election mode. So if the election is called and a report from the Integrity Commission comes to the parliament saying that the Prime Minister is one of the 6, they can stall that report for 2 months easily until after the election. So what the government is doing is covering their ass. Jamaican people, you hear me say? The government is covering their ass. They are putting measures in place to ensure that any adverse report that comes close to an election during an election campaign will not come to the Jamaican people. And I said to the opposition, you must not allow it. It must not be allowed. Because, you see, I believe that elections should be run on issues. The issues affecting the people. That's how you're supposed to determine who you vote for in an election. But this government is ready to hide the truth. Eh? They are ready and putting in mechanism in place so that they can hide the truth. So let's say the local government election is called and the Integrity Commission decide to submit a preliminary report, or they have completed their investigation and decide to submit. The government are just hold on upon that. 2 months, 30 days, and then after the election, you hear the halabaloo. Wow. Wow. We see right through them. And you hear the Speaker of the House, there's not one report that is left to be tabled. Now, we are trying to fool that. Yeah, there might be none now. But what you are ensuring, that if one turns up Tuesday, is next year, before that hit the parliament, before that table. I don't think gonna slick. Them think them slick, the people.